Hey there, welcome back to another brief video of mine. Last week I talked about spending plan, and I called it Spenders Rejoice. How living paycheck to paycheck will allow you to gain financial independence. And well, now let me elaborate more on what I was talking about, what I was referring to. And if you'll see here, uh, we have the different pay periods. So obviously, that's what I mean by living paycheck to paycheck is every check you get, you want to be able to spend it. You want to be able to tell that money where to go. And today I'm going to show you what I was talking about and how that works. So let's get right into it. So take home will be what you are paid after your taxes are out, after every 401k, any other expenditures you have. After all that comes out, this is what hits into your pocketbook. This will be free and clear, right? So that's the first step. And notice here on column A1, A2 actually is zero based. This is why it's called a zero base, because at the end of the day, after you end up working the spreadsheet, you want this number right here to be zero. And that's why you get to spend all your money. All your money is spent. You're telling your money where to go. And at the end of that pay period, that dollar amount should be zero. So my family and I, we're big into tithing. We believe of giving 10% of our income to the church, to a local church. And so that is something that we have seen our parents do, and it's something we continue to do, and it's something that we hope our kids will do. And so that would be 10% of that take home. That would be $100. The next thing is mortgage. So this would be your rent. If your rent is due that pay period, you would go ahead and include it there. Say if it's $300, you would go ahead and add it. Groceries. What are you going to spend for that particular pay period? Go ahead and add it. Say $70. Electric and water. If you have that bill coming up that moment, go ahead and include it. If not, go ahead and put it on its respective pay period. Fuel, if you need to get from point A to point B, go ahead and fill that out. So we'll do $60 there. And notice how after I type in that dollar amount here, your zero base continues to deduct from that based on the previous amount that I entered. So once we click on a different cell, 530 will now be going down to 470. So you continue working that plan, continue going down the list, and that's how you end up with zero. Meaning you spent every dollar. You told every dollar where to go, rather than sitting at the end of the month, going through all your receipts and trying to identify where all that money went. Now you're taking more control of that money and telling it exactly where to go. So continue working the list as the bills are coming up. So notice how the very top things would be your necessities. You want to make sure you're covering these things before you start working on, maybe your investment in college, maybe even your restaurants and entertainment. These are closer to the bottom because obviously, if you don't have that money there to work on, go out and eat, I would advise that you don't do it for that week. So again, we start working, continuing to fill it out. We have $420 left. And so you want to go ahead and allocate everything. So credit cards, if you have credit cards, you would want to make the payments, maybe even more than a minimum, get those knocked out. If you have clothing that you need to spend, go ahead and put that. And so now you have $220 left. You can keep going back. Gifts, you have a birthday party coming up, go ahead and include that. So anything that you have coming up, you want to go ahead and include it. For example, if gifts, you have a birthday party maybe a month from now, you want to go ahead and maybe start allocating, putting some money aside for that. And when you get to that day, you already have a pretty good amount for that particular event. But again, I would recommend that you take care of emergency funds first. Obviously, credit cards, you want to get those knocked out before starting going through buying people gifts. And so now you have $130 left. That's pretty easy to spend that money. So you can go ahead and start. Maybe you want to start saving for a car, and you would go ahead and include that dollar amount there, 130. And boom, that should be zero at the end of the day. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell. You enter your take home, and then you start working your expenses over here. Start adding them, and it's going to deduct until you get to zero. Obviously, that's a good place. That's where you want to be because you're telling your money where to go. So if you recall, I said spenders rejoice. If you're a spender, this plan is going to work out great for you because you're telling that money where to go and you have control of how you're spending it.